If you master IC inputs and IC outputs, you will easily spot or understand if the IC is good or failed. Why? Because we have a rule. When all inputs are good, we have to get to the output. If all inputs are present and you didn't get the output, means the IC is the bad component, is bad. For this IC, for example, let's assume that over here, this is the input, here we have output. You have not to look for the output here without the presence of all inputs. So if you didn't get the output, let's see, for example, plus VCC core, you have first to check if the inputs are present or not. Because you cannot say like this, the IC is bad. I didn't get the output means the IC is bad. No, you have to check the inputs first. Plus VCC, is it present or not? Enable, clock, shutdown signal, board signal, etc. Once you get all inputs here and you didn't get the output, means the IC is bad. Okay, now of course the best way, basically the best way to check inputs and outputs is to refer to the datasheet of the IC. But me here, I teach you the basics because you cannot have the datasheet of all ICs. That's why I teach you how to locate, how to spot the VCC and other signals without the datasheet. Let's, for example, take a clear example here. We have this IC. Okay, we don't have, of course, the datasheet, but using the traces technique, you can know about the IC pinout that the VCC is here, over here. This is VCC. Okay, first for beginner, we locate the pin number 1 by referring to this dot here or this white mark over here. Means this is the pin number 1. Here we have pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. The reading is counterclockwise. But what about the VCC? For the VCC, for this one, here, this pin over here receive the VCC. We have another pin over here. So this IC basically gets the input from here and the output from here. Okay, so always the thick line means we have VCC and of course the serum capacitor, because always you will find serum capacitor that connected to the input. And you see here this pin connected, as you can see, to this wide area. This is the ground basically. Here we have the ground, you see? And those line here, those are for signals, data and control signals, enable, clock, etc. So without even using the schematic, you can understand where the IC get VCC. And of course, the most important input is VCC. You have always to check if the IC is powered or not. Let's move on and even check another IC. Here, for example, we have an IC here. Here also, if you focus here, we have, as you can see here, you see this thick part connected to this capacitor. Connected to this capacitor means what? Means this IC is fed here. The VCC is in this pin over here. So this is pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pin number 7. So the VCC, if you want to check the VCC without even using the datasheet for this IC, we have the VCC here in this pin. And of course, here we have a tiny signal, means this is for enable, for clock. And over here, we have the output and we have the test point, you see? Okay, let me do like this. Here we have the output, we have this read point. This is basically the test point where you have to check the output. So we have input, we have output. So without even using the datasheet, I know where to check if the output is present or not. Let's assume that the output here, for example, is 1.5 volts. Okay, 1.5 volts. So if I check here I didn't find 1.5 volts. I cannot say that the IC is bad. I have first to go here to the ceramic capacitor or to the pin and check whether I have here the input 5 volt or 3.3 volt or not. Okay? Without datasheet, we can break down the IC pinout. Here, for example, we have a circuit. Do you see? This circuit basically, this is for what? If we go to the back, we have here the CPU. And this is the CPU circuit. And in the back here, also, we have the second part of the CPU circuit. And of course, we have the IC next to this MOSFET and tantalum capacitor. This is very clear for this circuit. Means this one, this is the CPU controller IC. This is the CPU that generates plus VCC current. And if you remember, I teach you in many videos about the CPU IDs. Do you see here? This point over here means the IDs from the CPU to this IC, because every CPU has a special voltage. It sends these IDs to the IC, and the IC, based on the IDs it gets, it will then generate plus VCC core to power the CPU. So this one is for the CPU. But sometimes you can find, for example, here, if we go here, we have an IC over here. This IC is for what? The tricks or the astuce we use here is always we check around the IC. Here we have the battery connector and we have the IC near the battery connector. It seems that this IC is the charge IC, okay? Because it is near battery connector. Let's see the other side. Okay, as you can see, in the other side, we don't have any IC here. We have just this small IC. This is for the RAM. So we don't have any IC over here. We have inductor, constant resistor, battery connector, diode, ceramic capacitor, MOSFET. So this IC here, this is the charge circuit. Here, for example, let's even see some big ICs. This one, for example, it's clear that this one is the audio control IC. Do you see? Near the audio ports. Here we have audio ports. We have the IC near to this audio ports. This is the audio control IC. If you have any problem here in this port, you have to check this IC. Now, let's move on basically to how to test the IC. I'll teach you 3 methods. The first method, as you can see, if you have the data sheet, you can refer to the data sheet and check the inputs and the outputs. Once you know the inputs and the outputs, you will use the datasheet and the multimeter and check every pin. Here we have VCC core, here we have 5 volt, 3.3 volt, etc. And also, you can use the technique I teach you by referring to the bold lines that are connected to ceramic capacitor to locate the VCC. Second, you can, of course, use the techniques of ceramic capacitors. Every IC has ceramic capacitors around it. So by checking the ceramic capacitors using continuity mode, if you get that many of those capacitors around the IC are shorted, means the IC could be shorted, about 80%. The third method is by checking the heat of the IC. You can use the thermal camera, okay, or just your finger. If the IC is overheated, 90% the IC is shorted. This is good. Now, I will summarize for you. So for the IC, okay, let's summarize everything. The IC, I told you that every component with 4 terminals means an IC, at least 4 terminals. And the pin number 1 is always, you have to refer to the dot above the IC, and the reading is counterclockwise, like this. Third, IC inputs and outputs. So here for the inputs, okay? And over here we have output. Very important. If you master inputs and outputs, you can spot any failure. So let's say, for example, that the output we want or we will get here, let's see VCC core for the CPU. So if I didn't get plus VCC core for the CPU, I should not say that the IC is the bad one. No, I have first to check if all inputs are present or not, including VCC, the working voltage for the IC, including enable signal, send from the CPU or sometimes from Super I/O, and also the clock signal, okay, and sometimes another very important signal, shutdown signal. The shutdown signal, very important, from basically the Super I/O, SIO. This signal means the IC, if the IC gets the signal, it will be off. Why? This kind of signals are sent when there is an overheated IC in order to protect the IC and protect the circuit. So please, the most important, if you didn't get the output, you have not to change the IC. You have first to check if the inputs are good or not. And as I told you, for IC testing, there is 3 simple and basic methods. The first method is by checking, of course, the inputs and outputs. The second method is by checking the ceramic capacitors around the IC. You will find many ceramic capacitors around the IC. If you find that these capacitors are shorted, okay, the IC could be the shorted one. And of course, the third method is by checking the heat of the IC. If the IC is overheated about 90%, the IC is the shorted component.